him out.
Yeah.
And gets attacked by him. Like, he was still alive after getting shot in the chest and eating poison. And so they shot him in the head. And then they threw him into, like, it was like December. They threw him into, like, an icy river.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was, like, really hard to kill, apparently. But I just had this really... I had this funny idea that, like, how great would it be if, like, somebody... Because, like, museums don't... They're not like, oh, yeah, we want Rasputin's dick. Like, bring it here. Some guy probably has it. And I just, like, imagine that this guy comes up on hard times and he has to travel to the Pawn Stars to sell it, you know? And
that'd be a great skit where he's actually doing, like, an interview to the like a one-on-one to the camera.
Right.
And they're like, so what did you bring us in today? He's like, oh, Rasputin's dick.
yeah.
You like?
I just, like, my favorite part of the joke that I've come up with so far is when Rick is talking, he's like, so what do you want to do? You want to pawn it or sell it?
Right.
He's like, I want to sell it. I don't want it back.
Right.
And he's like, well, look, man, I don't know how much this is worth. I'm going to call in my expert to come take a look at it.
Dick expert.
the Rasputin dick expert.
Right.
Now the guy comes in. He's like, "Well, I'm an expert of all dicks historical." It comes in, and I don't know. I mean, that's as far. I haven't, like, written the whole thing out, but
have Stormy Daniels come in. She's an expert on dictator dicks.
So the sad part about it, and, like, this hasn't discouraged me at all, but apparently the coroner's report, the dick was attached. They didn't cut his dick off. But what they say is that somebody,
the dick is bullshit.
Somebody took a sea cucumber and just put it in. You can look it up. There's a picture of it, like, in a museum. It's not real though.
They're like,
but yeah, it's just humongous.
They're like, it looks like a penis.
Looking, yeah, it does. It does look. It just looks like. And yeah, he had a huge dick apparently, and he fucked a lot of women.
Sea cucumber has dick-like qualities. Yeah. Oh my god.
So yeah, I would like to go do that joke, but we still got stuff to talk about. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully with the new job and all that new schedule, I'll be free to come back out and maybe spin some yarns, throw some shapes, all that jazz.
Yeah,
jazz fingers. But yeah, let's see here.
You had some big news you found out a few days ago?
Yeah. So we've talked about my son Jack on the podcast before. There's been some worry. Well, basically we've had trouble getting him to communicate any original thoughts, like I want to eat this or I want to do that or basically carry out any sentences or any kind of conversation, really.
Yeah.
And that's been really difficult. So
sure.
We had him into his pediatrician here in the area, and she brought up the idea that it might be not too far off to try and take him up to Iowa City and have him checked out, have him tested.
Did she have an idea of what it was?
No. She said I don't want to say one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because that's not for me to say. I'm not an expert on that.
Right.
I was like, okay. She's like, but it wouldn't be too far off to take him up there to experts and have them tell you one way or the other.
Sure.
Okay. So we set up the appointment. We took him up to Iowa City. Went up there early in the morning, and I want to say we got checked in about 7:30.
Okay.
And
early, man.
Yeah, and then it was about 8:00 when he finally saw a speech therapist, and she talked to him, and just asked him general questions. Paid very close attention to. How he said things, if he said anything.
Yeah.
His eye contact and stuff like that. If he liked to play make believe, if he liked to play house, how he said please, thank you,
sure.
all that stuff, and and what have you. And then she told us a little bit of her concerns and what she liked seeing from him. And then she sent us to the waiting room where we sat for a very short time before going into another hour-long meeting with a psychologist.
Okay.
And somebody is flying a banana plane by the house. Holy cow.
I don't like it.
Crop, Dustin. Wow.
What the heck is that?
I have no idea.
Oh my goodness.
I think we're getting bombed. It's 1943 or something. So
That's some low-flying planes.
right. Hot crowd. Took him in for another hour-long interview with a psychologist.
Yeah.
Where she showed him pictures and, said, "What's that?" He's like, "Oh, that's a shell." "What's that?" "That's a kangaroo." "What's that?" "This color red." That kind of thing. And had him do puzzles and all that stuff. And then she talked to us about her concerns and what she liked seeing from him. And then sent us to the waiting room again before we went and spent more time with a developmental doctor where he checked his ears and his eyes and his nose and all this other stuff, checked his weight and his height, and then asked us a bunch of questions of what does he like to do, what does he like to eat, what all that other stuff. And then he left the room, and then all three doctors kind of convened, and then they came back in the room and they told us we've decided our diagnosis is that Jack is on the autistic spectrum.
Okay.
And that's I'll be honest with you, from there they gave us a lot of information on like who to call and the next course of action, the best thing to do.
Sure.
And all that. And I heard what they were saying, but the one thing that was running through my head was just like, like, I don't, not that it was going to be hard for me. Like, that's definitely was not any of my worry. My worry was all him, and like I didn't want him to have. I know it's already difficult being a kid.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult trying to make friends and go to school and do all that stuff. I didn't ever want him to have to worry about being so different from all the other kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got lost in the feeling of I just don't want my kid to struggle.
Yeah. I mean,
like I understand that struggle builds character and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you don't want your kid to have a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, you want I agree that struggle builds character and that kind of stuff, but you still want it to be an even playing field, right?
Yeah.
Like all kids have that problem, but if your son or daughter is mentally handicapped or has autism or something like that, they're not on the same playing field. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They're running a 200-meter race when everybody else is running a 100-meter race.
Exactly.
Right? Like, so I get it, but I think it's good. I imagine
that's the
it's
thing.
good that you know now.
It's better that we have an idea of what we're up against. I got kind of lost in the moment of trying to, just to decide my next course of action as dad. Trying to take care of my baby boy.
Right.
And he was the number one priority. It's just I don't know. I kind of struggled to get past the idea of like. Admittedly, at first I was like, how much of this is my fault?
Oh yeah.
Again, I know that this was all about him.
Right.
But I couldn't help but have that thought of like, what did I do to bring this on? What, how much of this did he get from me? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of blaming myself, even though autism really isn't a blameful thing. I guess is the way you want to refer to it. Is that not blameful?
Well, unless you believe that vaccines cause it, I guess. But
Right, which I do not.
yeah, I don't. Yeah. But
yeah, so I was worried about my boy, and
sure.
So I went and I posted on Facebook because I knew that there were a bunch of people out there that have been asking about Jack, and you know, I'd been talking to them about Jack, and rather than put out individual texts, I was just like, I'll do this. I just kind of.
Is that Jack talking?
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, he's probably yelling.
I didn't know if it was Jack or Rowan.
No, that's him. And I don't know. It was one of those things where I just felt like I'll put out a blanket statement and just kind of appease everybody, and then I'll take the night for myself.
Yeah.
And I posted it, and then when I came back to it later, I saw that, you know, everybody came out and showed their support, and was like, don't blame yourself. This is, you know, he's still an amazing little boy. Like, that was never in question. Like, he's, even when we went to Iowa City, each one of the doctors that he spoke with, you know, said he's so full of energy and so positive, always smiling.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he doesn't have like fits of rage or you know, a whole bunch of animosity or anger. He's like a go along to get along kid.
Yeah.
You know, he's very sure of what he likes. You know, if he likes something, he's like, oh, you know, I want that, please, thank you, give me that, whatever.
Right.
If he doesn't like something, if he doesn't want to eat something, or if he doesn't want to do something, he's no. And if you try and like shove it in his face, he'll make sure to push your hand away. Like, I said no, you know, like he's. Yeah. But other than that, that's the only real time you get anything negative out of him is when he's telling you, I don't like that. That's it. And
but
the rest of the time,
I mean, even that though, I feel like that's a good indication that he understands stuff. Like, you know, you were saying that like he doesn't have a whole lot of original thoughts, or he doesn't have any, or whatever. But like,
well, he doesn't know how to communicate his original thoughts, really.
Right? Yeah. I think that's a better way to put it. But I guess, so, you know, but the brain function is all there. I mean, you know, it's just you know,
there's no question
if you can help him help him express it.
Yeah.
Right?
There's no question that he's a smart little boy.
Right.
It's just trying to help him and coach him through how to, you know, communicate those thoughts or feelings in a little bit more easy to understand context or way or whatever you want to refer to it. He doesn't play a lot with other little kids, you know.
Yeah.
That could be because he's introverted, like he's a positive little boy, but he tries to keep to himself for the most part.
Yeah.
But you know, by this time he should be a little bit more
outgoing.
Yeah, a little bit more vocal. More, like, I don't know. But it's a process. You know, it's from here on out. It's my job as dad and his mother's job as mom to work on how to make this easier for him and make things more accessible for him.
Right.
So we're just figuring all this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all new, right?
Yeah. It's scary. Fine, it's nerve-wracking, but
sure,
you know.
Sure. But like, you know, that's normal for anything new. You know, like
all's gonna be okay.
It's just probably harder because, you know, it's your kid and you want to be able to give them the best, and sometimes situations like these have a tendency to leave you feeling a little helpless. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that sucks. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, the world doesn't stop because we ran into a hiccup.
The world doesn't stop, but also there's a lot of people that want to help and are willing to help, and you know have been through this before, and so they have a little deeper insight and
So it's just it's a matter of